Hello, user Nemo, and welcome to your deck review. For those of you joining us for the first time on YouTube, this is a series where I, Maltown, normally a short form commander hater, will calmly and lovingly review your commander deck's PP, your PP being your premise and your practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck. For user Nemo, it appears to be blatantly lying. I'm sorry. I already have the giggles because I try to read primers before I start the deck, and the primer is both long and so full of hypocrisy. I'm talking like closeted Republican levels of hypocrisy, and I cannot wait to get into it. And your practicum is the stuff actually in the deck. It's the 99. So we're going to spend a few minutes talking about this person's idea, whether it's achievable in the bracket they want it to be in. This person wants it to be in bracket 2, so like hell yeah, it is. You can do almost anything in bracket 2. And then we'll get into the 99. And I don't really think this person wants to change too much because their friend bought it for them after a particularly brutal mogging, is my understanding. This is Kroxa and Kunaros Landfall. The primer talks about they want a very resilient strategy. They want it to focus a lot on resource management, and they've played Landfall in other colors, and they found that when you play Landfall in green, it's basically just a storm deck, and they don't want to play that. They want like every individual land hidden in the table to feel like something. They want some impact to it, and so this deck is trying to very, very resiliently beat you to death with keywordless 2/2s, with keywordless 4/4s, but they're going to keep coming back over and over through a mix of classic Mardu reanimation, and then Kroxa and Kunaros can come in the late game to bring in a little bit more. Now you might be wondering, like, Maud, how does, like, what? That was my first thought too. And I just want to call special attention to, so I read through every word of this, and I think this deck is pretty solid actually. It sounds pretty cool. It sounds like it's very fun to play. And I had gotten about 3/4 of the way through. I had gotten like about here and was thinking like, man, it's weird. Barely any of this actually gives a shit about landfall. And then I got to the sentence, if you tell me my deck doesn't play enough cards that literally say landfall on, I will drop your ice cream to the floor. And I guffawed. So shout out to you, Doc, for predicting that. Your deck does not play enough cards that literally say landfall on it. I think this deck looks hot. This is not a landfall deck. This is not a fucking... This is like if James Cameron had the idea for Avatar when his dentist gave him laughing gas and he said, so essentially Avatar is about a trip to the dentist. I think playing Landfall in a way that was deeply unsatisfying gave you the idea for this deck. This looks like just a resilient Mardu combat deck that has a few pet Landfall cards. Um, which is fine. It's just so funny to me. It's just um because we have like right our entire top end for this deck is effectively like Ruinous Ultimatum, Carmen Cruel Sky Marcher, Sun Titan. It's like either I blow up all of your stuff or I have a couple really big bombs on my own, but those really big bombs don't care about lands, right? Those really big bombs could be achieved if we just crammed a shitload of like 2 mana and 3 mana rocks into the deck. And we do have a lot of draw. So I at least have some faith that, we'll find a landfall payoff. We might even find 2 landfall payoffs every game. But like, you can't tell me for a moment Valakut Exploration fucking matters in this deck. You can't. I read about your cute little combo with Faith's Reward and Aura Fracture where you sack all your lands and bring them back. Maybe if that happens with Valakut Exploration on the field, then I believe in you. But you, my friend, are a great deck builder and also a fuck-ass liar. So let's look at what we have and see how we feel about it. Shout out Augusta. I think this is actually pretty solid. I think I just talked about this on an episode of our podcast earlier today. Being able to use your graveyard is getting more and more common. It is getting better and better to have cards like this that just do a little bit of graveyard hate every turn. And a flying vigilant guy, that will really quickly get to meaningful amounts of damage. Like, people underrate getting hit in the face by 3 damage. They just do. They don't respect how close it will bring them to death. Like, imagine if every time you went to the grocery store or you walked into a gas station, somebody just popped you with like a medium strength jab. That's what 3 damage is. Now imagine how many of those in real life you would have to be hit with before you got deeply concerned, and then compare it to how many times Timmy will let you do that to him in Commander before they freak out. So I'm actually down with this card. I'm down with this card because of your weird fucking deck. Nobody else do this, man. Um, this is probably fine. I mean, it's like it can enter untapped. I worry a little bit about fixing pips. I doubt it matters that much for your deck because we're not trying to race to our commander, and we don't need all 3 pips until we have 6 mana. Um, this is cute. It is trash. It is trash for sure. But it is fucking cute and sweet trash. Like, I think this is, it's like a very neat card draw option, given that we're going to be sacrificing our own lands. So I'm trying to think of what to call this deck, because it's like a land wood chipper. It cares about bringing the lands back, but you like super don't care about them entering. You're some strange mix of like red's land sack strategies and an actual landfall deck. Faith's Reward is very cute for when you sack all your lands. Is fucking awful, man. I can't take it. The nonsense, bro. Um, I think this is probably a card that everybody should play in bracket 2, right? People play Anger, people play Wonder, people play, what is it, Brawn, the green one that gives everything trampled. Don't play those, play Glory. Glory is way funnier and is way more likely to let you blow somebody out than any of those other cards. Lord of the Third Path is responsible. This is the best card ever, actually. I cannot believe that this is the first time I have ever seen this card. I have seen so many people play Pillow Fort. I have seen so many copies of Propaganda. I have seen so many copies of Ghostly Prison, Norn's Annex, all of these, ooh, do you want to pay 2? I have never seen this bitch. And she looks so much better. Like, the mental damage of being like, yeah, give something up. What? I don't care. I don't care. Just something. So that's awesome. That is bad. Um, Rakdos is great. I love this card. That's great. I love this card. That's great. I love this card. This one I genuinely take issue with, even in bracket 2. I think the thing that makes me feel not so good about it is we are positioning ourselves as a resilient deck that is going to grind you out over a long period of time. If we stick this on turn 3, grinding other people out becomes devastatingly difficult when they draw twice as many cards every turn. And you'll probably go, well, I'll draw, Ruinous Ultimatum. You might not. So I think this is maybe the first thing in the deck that it's like, even within this weird, very specific something we have contorted ourselves into, this one strikes me as not particularly good because it is running directly counter to what we want to have happen, which is we want to have everybody else end up hellbent or close to it, and we want to have us also hellbent, just playing out of our graveyard like da da da, we don't care. Great card, great card, great card. This seems fine. I'm shocked that we can't find a different one-sided board wipe. I am not as familiar with this deck. There seems like definite Battle of Bywater potential. Just doing a quick little scroll through. I saw a lot of 2s in there. I mean, I guess we want things to die, but do we really? Like, we have Inti, we have Evora, we have a Lock. We like don't we can reanimate them. We don't really want to. We don't really want to spend resources reanimating fucking Bannon, dude. Same goes for Caustic Bronco. Like we want Humidian Wastewalker dead. So maybe that's how we're justifying it to ourselves. But this also seems like a pick where we almost certainly have a better option. Sure, you just found this in your bulk. I swear to God. Same goes for this one. Uh huh. This one's cute. Again, people won't respect 3 damage, and we're trying to stack that damage up just as quick as we can. What's our draw? That's not true, but okay. That is true because we are reanimating. Sure, sure, great. I love this one. Quite possibly my favorite card in the deck. No, no, that's who is it? That's Michiko Kanda. Um, greedy as hell. Greedy as hell. I saw this boy in the primer, and yeah, greedy as hell. But greed is good in bracket too. This one is tough. Like this is part of how I know you're lying about landfall because this is really bad as a draw engine, but it's one of the best cards an aggro focused deck could ever play in the entire world, right? Like whatever we exile is lost to time immemorial. You talked about your mana curve being that's a pretty fucking clunky mana curve, but we're gonna play him and we're gonna do it. And we're gonna let cards go to exile forever because guess what? Whatever we discarded, we're playing that, and I need that +1/+1 counter, baby. Um, Evora seems fine. Lock's great, genuinely, for this type of deck. Lorehold's great. This guy fucking sucks. This I got flashbanged by this guy doing the pre before I turned the camera on the once over. I had to step away from my computer. Um, I think there just has to be a stone cold better option. I don't know what it is yet because I still have a headache from learning what this card does, but there has to be something better than this. Overlord of the Balemerc is fucking amazing. Protection Racket is normally, I think it plays a lot worse than people might think. I think you're okay with that, what with your chunky mana curve and each individual card meaning basically nothing to you. Like all of these cards are just like loose pieces of gum you found in your car. None of them really tied the deck together, but they all cost enough that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, 4 damage, I'll take that. 3 damage, I'll take that. 5 damage, I'll take that. Rakdos is amazing. Ripples of Undeath is amazing. Shadow of the Goblin's amazing. Um, Smuggler's Copter is also great. I mean, what I notice about all of these is we are relying crazy heavy on I have to be able to reanimate. And not only do I have to be able to reanimate, we seem pretty reliant on um I must be able to reanimate frequently. Like it is not enough to have, I need Squall. That's what I need. And if I don't get Squall out, a lot of this card draw and a lot of this like permanent advantage, I think Court of Ardenvale stands out as a particularly good one. Caustic Bronco is a fucking tutu though. Um, a lot of these could fall flat, which I think is a pretty striking vulnerability, and I think you would lose a lot less than you think if like well, like quite frankly, in what world do we like Scrawling Crawler over Phyrexian Arena? I think that's what's giving me the headache about this deck is we're like it feels like it feels like I'm in a room with a guy who was introduced to me as a prodigious hacker, like Mr. Robot type character, and I'm watching them break into the Department of Defense's mainframe. Um, and then I watch them like not know how to operate a toaster because I know that this like spreads damage to other people, which is good, but giving other people cards is so bad. Giving other people cards is so crazy bad. And so I think this is the most standout one, but I do think a number of these could just be thing put extra card in hand. Um, like Lost Monarch of Ifnir Terra would do the exact same job, create basically the exact same play pattern, and just be superior, right? She's 1 mana less. The mill is guaranteed. She has reanimation built in. And I remember you saying she's not the commander of this deck because you see too much of her in a local meta. So if that extends to the 99 as well, like, I get it. But boy, howdy. Mill, you fucking liar. Dogged detective, bro. Um, yeah, that's not true. That's kind of true. That's very true, very true. True, but again, we could just do better. Um, extremely technically. Extremely technically. I'm surprised we don't have faithless looting just for like velocity on this. Because faithless looting do a damn good card. Do a damn good job of get some stuff in my graveyard very, very mana efficiently. I'm amazed that we have dogged detective over faithless looting, but man, if you have that dog in you. So how many repeatable reanimators do we have? Well, it's pseudo repeatable because we have Encore. We have Carmen. Carmen seems pretty good here. Not repeatable. Court of Ardenvale, that's really good. Emiria Shepherd, really good. Naamshai, terrible. Quest for Necropolis, terrible. Redemption Choir, we'll call that okay. I saw enough 2s and 3s and 4s. Awful. Awful. Is repeatable though. Hey, if the deck actually cared about landfall, this shit would be gas, brother. Squall's like one of the best in the business, maybe second only to Sun Titan, who probably is the best in the business, and then Trove Warden's really cute. Oh, I love the restoration of Aganjo trick. So let me like okay, we have 2 lands. Those 2 lands cannot play a single thing in our hand. But God, we have Michiko Kanda and she's staring me in the face. How many? You had 40 lands. I kind of want to risk it. Yeah, landfall player. You'll draw it. Damn, that's crazy. All right, last chance. There it is. Okay, God loves us. So doing Kruneros and Proxa and Kuneros is meaningless. So Avenda Brush Razor is nothing here. So we lure into the third pass somebody's Soul Ring, and we hit somebody with a flyer. Great. We hit our land drop. Beautiful. Can we cast Squall? No, because we can't. So we're not going to play that land. We're going to draw an extra card. Fuck. Actually, never mind. We're good. All right, Regalia, Selfless Spirit. We hit Glittering Massif. That's cool. Somebody else drew a card. Draw some more cards. Fuck me. We're gonna crew the Regalia. Oh, it goes on tapped. I'm really trying to get this Black Pip without cracking Shattered Landscape. We're not gonna do it though. So I'm gonna play Michiko Kanda. What have we swung? We swung 10 damage across the 5 turns because we got Selfless Spirit in the air once, and then we swung Regalia twice. And now we're going to get to reveal till we hit Fabled Passage tapped. Phenomenal. I get a swamp. And it feels very relevant to point out this deck feels cool as fuck. Nothing I've done can be even kind of called landfall. I have had lands fall on the table, at which point everybody playing with me is also playing landfall. Because we're now going to get to go. All right, nobody's swinging at me because this is the most terrifying card I've ever seen in my entire life. We have a lot of lands. We don't really have any mill set up, so we can't bring a lot of stuff back. But we can get this Waste Walker down to start chucking him at people to sack lands and then bring him back with Squall. So if I do 4, this is a swamp now. I'm not gonna waste both our times going through this. Do that and then do that, and then I swing the Regalia again. I'm starting to get a little worried about swinging a naked 4/4, but if you believe, man, like we get lands out. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're ahead of curve. We what I will say we do, we ramp amazingly more resiliently than the green player. The green player could be ahead of us on mana right now, and the moment anything bad happens to, like, the moment a creature board wipe lands, they're devastated. The benefit we have is you can basically never stop us. Um, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sold. I think the things I'm most not sold by are probably Caustic Bronco. This is a guy I normally like to include in nearly all, or not nearly, but it's a guy that I consider for every deck that has black in it. Cause I'm like, ooh, I get an extra card and I can make people lose life. Maybe I make me lose life, but who cares? Um, but our reanimation is not as robust as I think you would like to believe in your mind palace. I think when things come together, that reanimation is very, very robust. Like if I already had Squall on board, or if I could curve Caustic Bronco into Squall or into like Sun Titan or something like that, maybe Redemption Choir, I would feel a little bit stronger. But there's really only like 5 reanimators that make me feel safe to play fast and loose. Um, so like Caustic Bronco seems like it's getting thrown into the pit to do no damage. Um, Lost Monarch of Ifnir seems insane. Sprawling Crawler seems similarly insane. Well, not similarly, it's for a different reason. This is because it's going counter to what we want the deck to achieve. Dogged Detective seems insane. Unless, again, this could be meta specific. If you're playing in a friend pod and they often stick Phyrexian arenas of their own, then this guy's crazy heat. This guy's insane if he will reliably trigger to come out of the graveyard on his own. But if you're spending a Squall trigger on him, seems crazy to me. Um, but it's like, this is super precon appropriate. Have you seen what the fucking turtles do, bro? They're not fucking around. And most of our interaction section, I know you skipped on doing like a Cursed Marauder stuff because we wanted to be a proactive deck. We didn't want to just be like, okay, I'm Mardu, slow flicker control. And I respect that. But I'm still just awash at how not proactive that playtest felt. And maybe it's because we didn't find, like, it is kind of amazing to me that we don't have Stitcher Supplier, right? If we want to get, even compared to like Dogged Detective too, if we really believe in how good we are at getting stuff into the graveyard and getting stuff back out of the graveyard, the shitty 1/1 who will be brought back by a stiff breeze kind of seems perfect for that. Um, Milliken seems like pretty perfect ramp here. And I think it's because we have this idea that we are a landfall deck, and in practice you simply are not. You simply are not. I think this is a really cool deck that utilizes its lands in a different way than most decks do. But like, I don't think we are that. I think Glimpse the Impossible could also be pretty useful for you. This is potentially a lot of mana to do an early Kroxa and Kunaros, and it is 3 mana. I can potentially get 3 things into my graveyard instantly. Um, Quite frankly, I do think over the course of a game, Codex Shredder clears whatever Dogged Detective is doing, but if he is a pet card, he is a pet card. Out of the Tombs would be good, but Out of the Tombs would be good for every self-mill deck that has ever existed. How is this guy so high up? Absolutely not. Um, we're not doing instants and sorceries. Barrogoyf seems wildly applicable. Well, maybe we're like non-bowing a little bit with Augusta, but we have a pretty decent spread in our deck. And if we're talking about things that can be hit by Mardu reanimation, that would fuel what we are doing and would help us slowly beat everybody else to death, especially if we intend to like ruinous ultimatum them by the end game. It, yeah, and I think the answer to all these questions is going to be, yeah, well, I like these guys, which is a perfect and impassable defense. So ultimately, I think this deck is pretty cool. I think you are blatantly lying about what the point of the deck is. Right? We could just see by, okay, how many card slots do I have dedicated to the point? 9. How many do I have dedicated to something else? 22. How many do I have dedicated to something else? 23. How many do I have dedicated to something else? 15. How many to something else? 15. How many to something else? 11. It is definitionally our last priority in this deck is to do the thing that we have said the deck is about. But that said, it is excellent and you can definitely do better, but I think doing better requires therapy, right? And not you being told what cards are good. You obviously know what cards are good. So have a wonderful day. And I have no idea if this helped, but I hope it is enough to know that you have hurt me.